Welcome to the first episode of I've Got a Story for You with Josh and
Luke.
Yeah, so this is the first episode. Basically, we're just going to tell you stories that we've encountered, known each other for the past sort of 8 years, is it?
Yeah, 8 years.
Wow, that's a long time. 8 years.
That's
so
too long.
Yeah, so we've got a good story for you when Luke decided that he was going to pull a New Year's Eve party, and it was one to remember.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a great party. You can't say that it wasn't a great party.
No, it was. Yeah.
It's just it went a bit sideways and got a bit tense about halfway through. So yeah, to set the scene, to get into it, had this New Year's Eve party. It was when I was living in Dewsbury, and thought, I'll have loads of people around, not been here long, be good to start a new tradition. So I got you up, had a load of people from work. There ended up being originally 11 people coming round. There ended up being 12, but we'll get onto that. So yeah, I cooked a nice bit of scran, lovely bit of squirrel.
Wasn't it lasagna?
Organised. It was lasagna and them dough balls in that tomatoey cheesy sauce.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
That was good stuff. That was. So I had organised all this night. We had games. I had that air hockey table. It was just had the grounds to be a really good night, and it was a really good night. So one of the games that I'd seen on TikTok was the pizza box drinking game, where, for those who don't know, you essentially get a pizza box. You write you've got a coin as well and a Sharpie, and you flip a coin onto this pizza box, and wherever it lands, you draw a little shape. And you can put in any kind of drinking rule that you can think of, and it doesn't even have to be, as we found out,
any rule
related to related to drinking. It was a anything goes kind of situation.
Yeah.
So, we're drinking and we're flipping the coin, and people are writing things like the person to your left has to finish the drink, and then it started getting silly, like the person has to run out through the back garden with just their pants on, and just really random shit like that.
And obviously, when you fill up the board as well, it gets harder and harder. And obviously, if people start taking a piss with the size of the shapes that they draw and the stuff that they put in it, then obviously you're more guaranteed to do stuff. So,
yeah, it gets to the point where every single piece is covered with some kind of rule. So what people didn't realise were that they could write a rule and immediately have to do that on their next turn. So it wasn't thought out very well. And you decided to have the great idea to write cock or balls, which confused everyone there. We were all like, what is this? This is you've played this before and enjoyed it. And it turns out what happens is, if you land on that little shape, you have to get either your penis or your scrotum out on display, and everyone has to guess.
But it's through your zipper, so you can't see entirely whether it is phallus or scrotum. So it's a good game, and I thought it was, from reading the room, a really good game to get everybody up and about and looking at everyone's scrotum. So, yeah.
See, you say read in the room, but so where this story takes a turn is someone who I worked with, whose name I will not disclose to save their own embarrassment.
We'll call them Barry.
Barry. Barry was a trans male. So If anyone's having any confusion with that, because I'm still learning myself. Used to be female, now a male. And I told Josh this, and only one other person, who was someone else from work, knew this. And bearing in mind, there's more than just a couple of people from work. There's like a good 5 or 6 people from work. And not everyone knew that was a thing. And that Barry had not gone through any kind of surgeries or anything.
Yeah.
Anything yet. I think he'd had top surgery, but not bum. Anyway, that's not the point. As you could probably already tell where this story's going. It was Barry's turn to flip the coin. And of course, he flipped on cock or balls. So the entire room is going like, oh, go on, Barry, get your cock or balls out. Go on. And I look at Josh. He's collapsing on the floor because he knows full well. And I was like, oh, no, it's all right. Don't worry, Barry. You don't have to do it. It's a silly rule anyway. And everyone's going, no, he has to do it. Them's the rules. Like, what's the point of this game if you're not going to enforce it? And he was sinking further and further into his chair. So I stood up and I goes, right, I'll do it. I'll do a forfeit for you if you want. And he was like, yeah, okay. So I proceeded to get my scrotum out in front of a room full of 11 other people, my co-workers. And the best part is you all fucking guessed wrong.
Yeah.
So
it is hard. I have seen both your cock and balls, and it is hard to distinguish which is which, to be fair.
It's a very bulbous head, what can I say?
No, but you did take one for the team, and I can respect you for that.
Yeah.
But just for the listeners, I am very forgetful, and not once did the fact that this person did not have neither a cock or balls cross my mind at that second. So yeah, it was only until we decided to start looking at each other like a Mexican standoff that the penny dropped.
It was just the most. It could not have happened to a nicer person either. Like I loved Barry. We don't really keep in touch anymore. I don't know why. Ever since that party, he kind of changed a little bit. But the whole party was just fuck ups on my part as well. Like, if you can remember, I invited that girl.
Oh yeah.
Over as well.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Which I can't remember her name, which is really bad.
Should we call her Debbie?
Let's not call her Debbie because that's my mum's name.
Oh yeah, big up Debbie. We love you, Debbie.
Debbie Deek. Yeah, it was my first date that day. Like, I'd spent all the day before prepping for this party, cooking everything. So I just went out for a little New Year's Eve date and thought, oh, this'll be all right. It'll go well. And when I first saw her, I thought, what? what is this? Which is a common theme that you'll learn throughout these episodes, that I get myself into these dates. But then obviously, you know, we have a few drinks and everyone's fit after 2 cocktails, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So she was like, oh, what are you doing tonight? What are your plans? I was like, oh, I'm having a party, got loads of people coming around. I was like, oh, you should come. And as soon as those words left my mouth, I was like, why the fuck did I say that? And then straight away I was like, oh no, it's New Year's Eve, she'll be busy, she'll not be doing anything. But straight away she was like, oh yeah, that sounds really good, I'll come.
Of course she's got no plans, and now we know why.
Right. And so we finished off drinking and we went out in Leeds, finished drinking in Leeds, got back to mine, had a couple extra bits to prep, and you were the first person to turn up. And you came in, I went, oh, this is whatever, and Isabella, let's just call her Isabella. Oh, this is Isabella. And he went, oh, yeah, all right. And then she turned her back, and I just looked at you. I was like, no, don't. bad move. And if you remember, Emily, who will probably end up being a guest on this podcast at some point, we were all outside on the back having a drink. Because Emily was having a smoke, and we were all just like, good vibes.
Yeah.
We stood outside talking, and Emily goes, oh, did Luke go on that date today? And she stood there like right next to me, and she goes, oh, I wonder how it went. I hope it went another munter. And then Isabella goes, oh, I was the date. And Emily went, oh, right. As if to say, oh God, what's he done?
Have you ever you've seen Shrek?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know the bartender from Shrek?
I know exactly what you mean. Warts and all.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to cover some other... well, no, they're not possible. They've gone and died in the water, but past relationships that Luke's dealt with, and this was probably one of his highlights, I'll be honest with you.
It wasn't my finest hour. But at some point through that party, she disappeared for ages. And I was like, where's she gone? And we were all... I think it was when we were playing the pizza box game. And it was either you or Danny that was there.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, you need to go upstairs now. And I was like, why? And he says, because Isabella's on your bed. I was like, no, she's not. He was like, yes, she is. I was like, no, she's not. He's like, where do you think she is then? He was like, because I've just been up to the toilet. And I said, well, it's as simple as this. I ain't going up them stairs.
Oh, I remember because we all went up then, and then like we all made it like a group trip up to your bedroom whilst you were just sat there. Safety in numbers and all that. You know.
Yeah, I just wasn't walking up them stairs.
We just didn't know what to do with her. I'll be honest with you. Like,
no, and midnight came, and obviously like there was one couple there. So they like were kissing, and she like sort of looked over to me, and I walked into the kitchen to get another drink. So I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Oh man.
Oh mate. I'm trying to think if that's the same party where you made that obscene comment about the naked Asian man feeding a baby in the window upstairs.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was incredibly drunk at that time. To a point where I think I was seeing things, but at this time I know full well that I wasn't seeing anything because I made everybody turn around.
I know, we literally just sat having a lovely conversation in the back garden, just getting over the Emily comment about, oh, I hope she weren't a fucking troll, about my date who was stood right next to me. And all of a sudden, you just turn around and say, there's a naked Asian man in that window feeding a baby. And we're all just like, is he on drugs? Like, what is going on with this kid? And to be fair, we looked up and there was
an Asian man,
not from his own titty.
Well, we don't know that. But
tastes like pattacks. That is not going to make it in the edit.
Oh man.
So yeah, that was the story of Cock and Balls, and an amazing New Year's Eve party that I hosted.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to move over to the rapid fire questions segment.
Fantastic. I've been waiting for this. All week.
So
I've been waiting for this.
all week. You mean the last 10 minutes since we wrote these questions in a last minute panic because we didn't know we were doing it? Yeah, sounds good. Right, so for the listeners, in each episode, we're going to be doing just a short round of quick-fire questions that relate to this week's topic. So if you would like to fire your first question at me, Josh.
Yeah, so would you ever consider being with a trans person if they told you on like the third or fourth date? So like, let me put it into context for you. You got there.
You don't have to put it into context. It's a no.
It's a no. Okay.
No.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Like this will come across really bad, but I like
vagina.
Yeah, but proper
organic,
uncut vagina. None of this. Oh, it's a gourmet Heston Blumenthal. I'll turn something inside out kind of vagina. None of that. I want it pure and straight from the factory.
I can smell cancellation from here already. We're not even.
Well, you know, let him come in.
Oh, dear.
Let the complaints come in. I do agree it is only episode 1, but you know, there's no point building up a fan base if we're gonna get one, and then start throwing this kind of atrocity at them.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's set the scene now and get people to strap in for what's to come.
All right then. Next question. What would you do if your dad came out trans?
I would not be too surprised. If my mum has just started going dancing lessons, which I think is really cute and wholesome, but at the same time, my dad's got about as much rhythm as a rock.
Right.
And he shows his feminine side quite a bit, but I don't know. I think he loves his penis too much.
Yeah.
It don't work, but he likes it. It's like that dog that's just about to die that you don't want to put down.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't think he'd get rid of it. He's got the tits, like, but
Oh, fucking hell. Right, last question. How would you feel about being bald? In fact, we can't even use that question anymore. We didn't even mention the fucking the slap a bald.
We'll mention it now then. I completely forgot to mention that part. For context, there was a bald guy at this party, and him and Josh were not getting on. They were not vibing very well because this guy was very ADHD.
Yeah.
And I can say that because I am. So you decided to write a rule, which was slap a bald cunt.
And it was one of the big patches on the board.
You drew the biggest circle around that rule. But the beauty is, he was the only bald person there. So anyone who landed on it, he'd have been getting a slap.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh my god. So how would I feel about being bald?
Would you embrace it, or would you go for like the Turkish hair transplant sort of vibe?
I don't know. It depends if you've got a funny shaped head or not. Because some people have a funny shaped head.
Yeah.
Like, especially like bigger blokes who have like ripples.
Yeah.
And layers to their head.
Yeah.
That might be the way that I'm going because my dad's bald.
Yeah, but if you've got the beard for it, which you have, it'd suit you quite well.
But again, if I've got a massive dome on my head, I ain't embracing it. I'll get a toupee or something stupid like that.
A merkin.
A what?
You don't know what a merkin is?
A merkin?
Yeah.
No, you're going to have to educate me on that one.
Well, a merkin is a pubic wig.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I won't get one of them. Is it your own pubes, or do you have to request them from people?
Well, you know, some like in India and that, women go and get their hair shaved.
I've already got a bad feeling about this story.
Well, like, they get their hair chopped off for, like, human extensions. I can imagine they do the same thing, but downstairs.
Oh, so... Right, okay. I thought you meant a wig made out of pubes.
Well, yeah, it should be. Well, yeah, I don't know. I've never used a merkin. I've never seen a merkin. But all I know is a merkin is a pubic wig.
A wig for your pubes, or a wig made out of pubes?
A wig for your pubes.
Who wants more hair down there?
That girl that you brought back.
No. Right, let's move on.
She was definitely hairy.
She had top lip hair.
Oh, she did. And a mole.
We've all made mistakes. I'm not saying that anyone with a mustache who is a female isn't attractive, just not for me.
If you've been affected by any of the stories in this video...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right. Okay, my question's for you.
Okay.
Have you ever accidentally or intentionally matched with a trans person on a dating app?
Yes, I have.
Was it accidental or intentional?
Accidental, but I went with it for about 2 minutes and I couldn't bring myself.
What do you mean you went with it? You shouldn't call them it.
No, I didn't call them an it. I was just like, I had to question whether it was real or whether it wasn't.
You just said it again.
Well, no, not the act of what I'd just done.
Okay, right.
I have nothing against trans people.
I feel a butt coming here.
Yeah, the butt isn't. They're just not for me. But you look at drag queens and you think, yeah, I'd probably shove it in.
Drag queens?
Yeah.
No, because they're making it obvious that they're a man dressing up as a woman.
Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, but. Yeah.
So if you're gonna shag one, you at least wanted to confirm that it's a bloke and that you're not gonna get a surprise when you wake up the next morning.
Yeah, that's it.
That's outrageous.
But to answer your question, Luke, I have swiped a trans, and it was an accident.
Well, you can't be too sure these days. You never know, do you?
No, that's it.
Okay. Question number 2. Have you ever, apart from the guy at the party, slapped the bald spot of someone's head?
No, I have not. And I wouldn't, because most of them are like David Statham and probably would hit me back.
Who?
I don't fucking... What's his name?
Jason. David Statham.
David Statham. Oh, what a bellend.
Oh my days. You're such a twat. So no, because you think they look hard is what you're saying?
Yeah, most of them are. I wouldn't mess with any bald people.
Like David Statham.
Like David Statham, yeah.
Okay, right. My final question. Is there anything that you would consider too far in a drinking game? Incest?
That's always on the table, I think. You've got to keep it there.
To do it, or
yeah, to do it. No, I'm joking. Fuck that.
Well, mate, honestly, with a sister like yours, I'm not surprised.
Fuck off. Can we cut that bit out? I've got.
Nah. No.
I just think anything physical, like I wouldn't teabag you, and I wouldn't let you teabag me either.
So you can see my bollocks, but you won't touch them. That is so heartbreaking.
It is.
Yeah, to be fair, I draw the line at piss and shit.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't piss or drink anyone's piss.
Nah, you cross it. That becomes more of a sex game then, rather than a drinking game, or maybe both if that's what the rule is. Right, let's move on quickly from this conversation because it's getting very, very disgusting. So this normally would be the point where we would read out stories from our listeners, but this is the first episode we've ever done, so we don't have any listeners. At the time of release, I can 100% guarantee at the time of releasing this episode, we will have 0 listeners. So this is a great opportunity for anyone listening to send us your stories of mishaps and misfortunes. You can send them to ShameAndShenanigans@gmail.com, because we're not paying for a business domain just yet. We're also going to be having guest appearances on, friends, family, people who have lived these experiences with us, just to provide some outside perspectives. Because, I mean, the thing is with humour, especially our sense of humour, is it's an acquired taste.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Which is why half of you that are listening now have just this second turned off and are not going to listen to us again.
Oh, mate, it's not just now. It's not just now. It is that they tuned out as soon as we started talking about trans people. if they even got that late on. You know, it's a very divided country at the minute. So I think it's to get outsiders' perspectives, just to make sure it's not just us sitting in a room laughing to ourselves about shit that's not funny. So I think this is a perfect time to wrap up and say thank you so much for listening. I've been Luke.
And I've been Josh.
And you've been listening to I've Got a Story for You. See you next week.
Bye-bye.